Before your business gets stronger, your insecurities get louder. No one warns you that growth stirs up these negative feelings you thought you had outgrown. Today, we are naming the part of entrepreneurship that lurks in the shadows and tells you that you're not good enough. Hello, my beautiful entrepreneurs. My name is Tabitha Bear, and this is A Hot Mess Builds an Empire. I have no idea what it is that I'm doing, but I'm doing it with the energy of someone who's tripped and is making a career out of the fall. Today, me, with the help of my lovely assistant Torpedo, if you can kind of make her out in the couch there, we're coming to you live from the TBS studio that we're going to name the emotion that comes with entrepreneurship that makes you feel like you're not enough. Now, we talk about jealousy, we talk about comparison, we talk about imposter syndrome, but it has a big old umbrella. And that umbrella is keeping those things dry and warm, and they're thriving, and it is not okay. And that's inferiority. Gotta name it. You gotta name it to make it less powerful, right? So let's talk through the different inferiorities that come with being an entrepreneur. And then at the end, I promise I'm not ending the video. I'm going to talk about what it is that I've learned or tools that I'm using right now to get through certain things that are making me feel inferior. Because I feel like ending the video without some help is really shitty, because this is a really intense subject, especially for new entrepreneurs. Inferiority just is such a shitty place to be in, especially certain dynamics of like finances, age, wisdom, creativity, tool mastery, social media, audience size, that kind of thing. Like, there are so many things that trigger inferiority that we don't really talk about inferiority as like the big umbrella of all of these things. And we just kind of go like, oh, I'm a little jealous of this person. And then we just like carry on. We're calling it inferiority. I see you, and we're calling you on your shit today. So let's talk about tool inferiority. This has been a big one for me this week because I started my YouTube channel. They're daily videos, and I knew that what I wanted to get out of it was learning how to have a YouTube channel and to learn how to find subscribers or get subscribers, learn how to create engaging content, quality content, learn how to edit and export in Premiere Pro and upload and encode and create motion graphics. And I have like this laundry list of things that it is that I want to do, but I don't know how to do any of them. And from the get-go, I feel completely inferior to the process. I haven't even started yet. So I started watching videos of people doing like basic things. Valentina V is a good one. She works with Adobe specifically. I think she's called like an Adobe Master, or however it is that they work in their ambassador programs. Like, I think she's called an Adobe Master, and she does a lot with Premiere Pro. She is so good, and she's so fluid and so organized, and she explains things really well, but I aspire to that, right? Like, most of the time I'm just like, oh my God, I'm going to be sick. I can't possibly do that in my entire life. I don't have the time to figure out how to do that and be an expert. But just like how well she explains things and how well she's like, oh, if you want to do this, do this. If you want to do that, do that. If you want to do this, do this. And she does it like, you can tell her clips are not cut. You can tell she's just doing it off the top of her head. And I want to get to that point of mastery where I'm not Googling every single thing that it is that I need to accomplish. And I want to get to the point where I go, this is what it is that I want to do. And I'm just going to go here and I'm just going to do it. That shit is going to take some time because it has been 6 days. And all I could do was throw clips together, throw a little intro music together, put an overlay graphic on videos that took forever, by the way. Those 3 videos that start off some of my videos, getting them to line up next to each other took forever for me. But I learned how to do it. I got through it. But what I learned today is emotion graphic. Yeah, I know. Like advanced level shit here. And that is going to be the new title moving forward until I perfect the next level of the skill, and maybe it'll change. But that's what I wanted to do, was I wanted to build like a motion graphic that is the title card of A Hot Mess Builds an Empire. That was my goal, and I did it this week, and that was like the first thing I really wanted to learn, because I just think they're so cool looking, and I think they're so cool to manipulate, and I did it. Is it great? Probably not. The file size is huge just for that clip. Just for that clip, the file size is massive, and it's just so unnecessarily large. But I did it. So small victories, take them, and inferiority can take a back seat in the car, because I won this round. All right, the big one. Let's talk about money. Oh, financial inferiority really is triggering and makes you feel inadequate, right? Do you change your prices, make them more expensive to get more money faster from like fewer clients, or do you make it cheaper to maybe bring in more people and sell yourself short? Like, do you cut expenses so that your bottom line looks better? You don't have enough money to hire help, or you only have enough money to hire help for like 5 hours a month. Like, there's all these questions that you ask yourself. And then on top of that, there's capitalism. Capitalism is like this huge amplifier for a financial triggering inadequacy. It makes you feel like you're not going hard enough, you're not doing enough, you're not pushing fast enough, you're just like not doing enough to be a millionaire here in America. It used to be the American dream was you could live off of minimum wage and still afford a house with a white picket fence and your 2.5 children, and your wife didn't have to work. That's how it used to be, the American dream. But now the American dream is run yourself into the ground, trying to make $1 million, have 1 million followers on some type of platform, hopefully all of them, and buy tons of things, help a bunch of people, and sell a course. Yeah, financial inferiority is rough, especially when you assume how much someone is making. You can really fuck yourself up by assuming how much someone is making. Some entrepreneurs share like their quarterly revenue, or like their annual revenue, which I think is really great, right? Like, they don't have to do that, but they do that. But when you assume someone is making more money than you, or you assume they're making really good money, but you also don't know their bottom line, right? You don't know what they're investing in. You don't know what they're paying for. You don't know if they have a full-time traditional job. Like, if you just go out there and assume and then make yourself feel inferior, you're doing yourself in. So first things first, stop assuming that you know people are making more money than you are. Don't do that. That's a bad. I've been down that road. Don't do that. I just kind of go like, oh, they probably get good conversion. Good for them. Merp. That's it. The end. End of story. That's it. Don't be like, I am assuming that they make millions of dollars and I do not. If you're assuming, you're the one making yourself feel inferior. Don't do that. Don't assume people's finances. All right, this next one is me. Now, I want to start this off. This is from a very respectful place. This is not from a, hey, you young hooligans place. It is not. But it really hits me in my inferior umbrella, like pelts of hail that are the size of softballs, when people who are younger than me are wiser and better and more successful. At least what I gauge as successful, right? Like, we all have a different gauge of success. What I gauge as successful is basically somebody who gets to live their dream life. These are the goals that I have, right? Like, this is an example person. This isn't actually me. But like, say you really want to do videos, so you create a TikTok and your goal is to become like a voice actor for a cartoon series or whatever. And then you gain the following and it happens and you're 22. Good for you. That's amazing. I think that's wonderful. But man, it really sucks because I am no longer 22 and it makes me wonder, what the fuck have I been doing with my life to be as old as I am and to not be successful with my business and to not be as wise as someone in the entrepreneurship field, and to just see them be successful and to make um, projects that it is that they want to make, or partner with people that it is they want to partner, whether it's brands or collaborations, like whatever it is that it looks like, just to see someone else living their dream life who's could be my kid. That one fucks me up every time. And I'm, like I say, I'm so respectful that you've made it work and you have your dream life. If you're out there and you're 22 and you're watching, like, hey, don't stop it. I just am hit so hard as an American that you have to do something by a certain age. You have to be out of college. And I mean, what's so crazy about high school is like you have to have the deciding factor of what it is that you want to study and do for the rest of your life by the time you're 16 to 18, right? What are you going to study in college? What college are you going to go to? What are you going to do? Like, it starts there. When you're like 15 or 16, it's like, here you have to visit these colleges. You have to apply to them. You have to apply to them years in advance to see if you're going to go there. And it's like, I don't know if I'm going to like the same things in a year from now. And in a year from now, I'm still going to be in high school, but now I'll be accepted to a college with a deposit down. And right, like there's all these things, right, that just go into college. But to then have to have your shit figured out by the time you're 22 and have been graduated and you have like a degree or have a career lined up, or like maybe you go the technical route and you go into like HVAC certification or something like that, right? Like you're supposed to have a good job and have everything figured out by like 21, 22. And like it's supposed to be like the setting up of everything. By the time you're 30, you need to be married and have children, because if not, you're a geriatric mother by the time you hit like what, 35, 37, something like that, like medically speaking. And when there's this strict timeline of things you have to be successful at by the time you get there, it ruins the validity of what it is you're doing later in life. Because I'm supposed to have been successful by now. As you can tell by my 7 subscribers, not there, not monetized, not going to make like $1 million this week on YouTube. That sucks a lot. And American culture just shits so hard on getting older and shits so hard on older people. Like, and listen, I know that there's like those graphics out there on those carousels who are like, Martha Stewart started at 55 and look at her empire now. That's great for Martha Stewart, and I get that. But I'm still struggling with what it is that has been ingrained in me my whole life. My whole life has been ingrained to be this certain way on this certain timeline and do these certain things by this time. If not, I am not doing a good job. So to see people be super successful, like 21, 22, and like live their dream life, I feel very inferior to that. And I'm naming it. So it doesn't have as much power over me. It still exists, though. It still exists. Next, let's talk about the FOMO inferiority. This one is kind of weird because there are certain things that can feed into it. But I think for me, it's like when I feel like there was a secret entrepreneur meeting and I missed it. I constantly feel like I have a train ticket and a train schedule in front of me for all the entrepreneurship stops. And I miss every goddamn train that comes my way because I don't have the right schedule. There are things where it's like a tool that comes out that would make your life easier. I feel like I find out about it years later. Or you feel late to the game on something, or you feel like everybody knows about a trend and they've been doing it and did it and they got out of it what they wanted to get out of it. And then you're like, oh, what is this trend? This is really cool. This would be applicable. This would be really good with my style, like whatever. And then you're too late and the trend kind of fizzled out, and you can do the trend if you want to, but maybe the video is not going to hit as hard. And like, so it's just like FOMO inferiority that really messes with me. Like I'm always missing a piece to the puzzle because I didn't get somewhere in time or I didn't know about something in time and I missed it. All right. The last inferiority that I have listed here is creativity. Mm. Some days I'm really good at this. Some days this doesn't bother me. And then there's other days I spend like hours being brilliant and amazing and fantastic. And then somebody launches something and I'm like, oh, that's so much better than what I have. And I crumble into my hobbit hole with some tea. Why would anyone ask me to take the ring to Mordor? Hmm? I think about that all the time. Like, nobody knows I exist. They wouldn't even know where to find me. It sucks when you're like, this is so much better than what it is that I created. But you got to regroup. You got to sit down. You got to be proud of what it is that you've done. If you are not doing the consumption of social media like all the time and you're proud of what it is that you've accomplished for the day, or you've spent months creating something and it finally finished and you launched it to 0 sales, which I have done multiple times. It sucks when you see somebody else come out with something that you think is better than your thing. But that's only a temporary feeling, but we let it marinate, I think, for far too long than what it needs to. So we're coming up on the tools to help you through things, but let's acknowledge the creative inferiority, right? Like we have to acknowledge it. Some people make things and you think that was effortless for them and they come out with something and you're like, oh my God, why didn't I think of that? And then you just like rip your script up and like say, fuck you, director. And then you walk out, right? Like let that moment, that feeling exist. It's valid. You are human. That's a valid feeling. Let's let it exist for a minute and let's move on to the helpful section of this video. I want to talk about inferiority in a different way. Like, I think it's an iceberg, and the surface level is that inferiority umbrella, right? Where it's like, here's jealousy, comparison, imposter syndrome, any other negative emotion affiliated with entrepreneurship that hits you in the guts. Let's turn that umbrella into a compass. Everybody's getting wet in the rain. Let jealousy shrivel up. Think of it as the wicked witch. Can't touch the water, right? Like let jealousy shrivel up in the rain that's happening. But inferiority is now a compass. So treat it like data, not a verdict. When you treat inferiority like data, it points you in a better direction. So first and foremost, like it means you care. Inferiority means you care. It means you're passionate about something, like, but let's dive into those things, right? Like it's not just inferiority and I care. What do you care about? Read the data. Where is it pointing you to? So first and foremost, finances, big trigger for a lot of people. You want financial stability. How do you get there? Do you cut corners now? And I don't want to say cut corners in like a be sloppy about your shit kind of way, but maybe there's a tool that you could go without that would save you $50 a month. And you just do it manually for a couple months, and then you take that money you've been saving and you can hire someone. Or you take that money you've been saving and you invest it in a template that helps you build a book on how to do something, and you sell it and then you make that money back. You know what I mean? Like get creative with what it is that your inferiority is pointing you to. The other thing is tools. Like that's just a goal for wanting tool mastery. So what have I been doing this week? Like, hey, I want to make a motion graphic title card for my YouTube series. That was a big goal, and I accomplished that today. And I have to take that win. I have to acknowledge that victory. If I do not acknowledge myself making progress and overcoming things and developing my skill set and developing myself, like it's just not going to work out, and inferiority is just going to keep winning. The next thing is your growth makes your insecurities loud because they're getting insecure. A little meta, but it you have to look at it in the sense of your growth is making your current insecurities irrelevant. You're at level 10, let's say, right? You collected all your gold coins. You just finished fighting the big boss. Hey, look, you're at level 11. Well, that's pretty fucking cool. And the insecurities from the last 10 levels are like, but we're not coded. We're not coded to go to level 11. We don't have the code for that. We're not written into the program. And you go, okay, well, I'll stay here in my comfort zone of navigating through these insecurities. No, you go to level 11. You're going to face new insecurities when you get to level 11. And you're going to have to navigate through that and overcome that and achieve greatness on level 11. But as you start to head towards the gates of level 11, your insecurities are going to get louder and louder and louder and louder. It's a fight for survival, right? Like they're trying to fight for their right to survive, to exist, to be parasites on what it is that you have going on. I was smart. Write that down, bitches. I did good. Okay. This one I've gotten so much better with. And in the last year, I've gotten really good with it. But in the last, maybe 6 months, I've really started to, I don't want to say master, but I've really made it a habit to avoid this mindset. So, like I've said in my Grace Through Gritted Teeth episode, you should be the only entrepreneur in the room that you are worried about. You are not in the same room as every other entrepreneur. You don't know what it is that they have going on. You cannot compare timelines. You can't. There are people who go into things with different privileges, different resources, different investments, different ways that they've worked their messy middles to get to a certain point to launch and be successful, right? It's not the same as your starting point. It's not the same as your resources. It's not the same as your equity. It's not the same as your background. Like there are all these things that need to be taken into consideration. And I know that sucks. That sucks so much. And I truly get that. But if you keep comparing your timeline to somebody else's timeline and thinking that you need to be on their timeline, this goes back to the age thing, man. It hits me really hard in the feels. It fucks me up. But you can't dwell on the timeline shit. You can't. I did see it was like a it was pretty corny, but like it made sense that you can't compare your chapter 2 to somebody else's chapter 20. And as corny as I think that is, like I think it's like a really helpful, small, short, don't compare yourself to others kind of phrasing. So if you need to go on Pinterest, I'm sure you could Google it and find it and it'll work out for you to like print it out and put it on your wall behind your computer and just be like, don't compare yourself to somebody else's chapter 20. All right. Celebrate your small wins. No matter how small, celebrate them. With my intentional journaling, I celebrate small wins by just acknowledging what it is that I've learned today or plan on learning or what I learned yesterday. And it's just so important to acknowledge that growth, acknowledge where it is that you're going, and just say, hey, wow, I haven't learned anything new in this area for the last 3 months, but I learned how to do this today. And I think that just like pushed my business in a different direction. Like today, I learned how to do the motion graphic. I have never touched a motion graphic before in my life, but I learned how to do it today. I'm going to take that W. And inferiority can go fucking pound sand. And lastly, I think pull back the curtain. Share your story on your messy middle. I love messy middle stories. I follow people who are in the middle of their messy middle. I just think it's so awesome to see like, hey, this isn't working for me and I'm trying to figure it out. And I've been on this hunt for this particular person or collaboration or tool or whatever for the last 3 months and it's just not working out. It's not going well. I'm still going to keep going, right? And I think when we share those messy middles and we stop archiving everything that doesn't look good or looks weak or makes you think you look bad, I just think it makes you look human. And I want to see that as like a follower, as an audience member. I want to see the human side of you as an entrepreneur. And by sharing that, I think it also stops us from gatekeeping information. Once I became an entrepreneur and I really put a name to what it is that I was doing, it felt like people were gatekeeping things on purpose, because if you got to look behind the curtain, then you knew what it is that they went through, and they probably looked like shit. People don't like looking like shit, especially in the public eye. But own it, man. Like, I love seeing people look shitty. I don't love shitty people. Two different things, okay? Two completely different things. But like, there's something about somebody like being like, hey, I did this thing and I sucked at it, but I want to show it to you so you can see what it is that I tried to do today. Like, such as the title card to this video is brand new and a motion graphic that I learned how to do today. And if it looks shitty, that's okay. I've never done it before. And it's brand new and it's amazing, and it'll continue to get better as time goes on. So that's all we have for today's episode. But I want you to remember that the ugly side of growing is dramatic and loud and super disrespectful constantly, but you can't let it drive. If you let inferiority drive your business, what are you doing? You being the passenger and letting it go and not pulling out a map even? Stop it. Drive the car. Even if you take a wrong turn, even if you're missing the train that you're trying to get to. I miss the train all the time for entrepreneurship, but I'm still showing up to the station. I'm still asking the ticket master where it is that I can get the next train. Is there a connection? Whatever, right? Like, whatever metaphor you want to use to help yourself feel better, use it. But your insecurities get louder the more your business grows. So let them get loud. Let them be the squeaky wheel. Just don't give them the attention and the oil that it is that they're asking for. So please like this video. Please subscribe. I would love to see you hang around, and I'd love to see more of you. And just let me know, what is your biggest inferiority complex when it comes to being an entrepreneur? I've shared the list of mine, and I hope it was helpful to kind of go through that, and you can see that you're not the only one out there who's upset about money and upset about people who are younger than you being more successful than you, whatever, however you gauge success, right? But we're all in different places, can't compare timelines, etc., etc. And yeah, it's really hot in here. Whew, that space heater did a good job today. Oh my God.